Hare Krishna. So, Prabhuji, English is. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for kindly assembling here today for the Srimad Bhagavatam class. I am especially very thankful to His Holiness Ananta Krishna Maharaj, who is kindly present here today. Thank you, Maharaj, for kindly being present here today. And there are senior devotees also present here. Thank you, Sankarshan Nitai Prabhu, for kindly being present here today. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Janudvip Nitai Prabhu, for kindly inviting me. And thank you to all the devotees at Sri Sri Radharas Bihari Mandir. Thank you all of you for being present here. As I said last time, between the speaker and the audience is certainly more important. Because if on a particular day the speaker doesn't turn up, somebody else will be elected as the speaker, somebody else will speak. But if on a particular day the audience doesn't turn up, then there will be no Srimad Bhagavatam class. So certainly, the major responsibility of the success of the Bhagavatam class lies on the shoulders of the audience. And all of you are kindly present here as the audience, so my sincere thanks to you. It is Shisht Parampara, the tradition set by the previous great Acharyas, that we have to commence every program by invocating the Supreme Lord in the form of Mangalacharan. So most of us already know these prayers. So I'll perform Mangalacharan. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namaha Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. So thank you once again, dear devotees, for kindly being present here. Panchabhi sah sthatavyam gantavyam panchabhi sah vaktavyam na dukkham panchabhi sah. It is said, Panchabhi sah sthatavyam. If you want to stay at one place, stay at least with how many people? 5 people. Why? Because if you have a disagreement with someone or a fight with someone, you have at least 4 more people to talk to. Gantavyam panchabhi sah. If you are traveling somewhere, travel with at least how many people? 5 people. Because While traveling, if you get into a fight with someone, there will be 5 people to defend you. Panchabihi sa vaktavyam. And if you want to speak something, there should be at least how many people? 5 people. Na dukkham panchabihi sa. There will be no unhappiness if at least 5 are present. And what to speak if 50 are present, then the happiness is multiplied 10 times. So all of you are present here in such large quantities. Thank you so much. Today is Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading for Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 14, text 25. So the text should be displayed on the screen in front of all of us. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Atmanamevatmataya vijanatam. Tenaiva jatam nikhilam prapanchitam. Jnanena bhuyopi cha tat praliyate. Rajvamahir bhava bhavau yatha. Atmanamevatmataya vijanata. Tenaiva jatam nikhilam prapanchitam. Jnanena bhuyopi cha tat praliyate. Rajvamahir bhava bhavau yatha. Atmanamevatmataya vijanatam. Tenaiva jatam nikhilam prapanchitam. Jnanena bhuyopi cha tat praliyate. Rajvamahir bhava bhavau yatha. Atmanamevatmataya vijanatam. Tenaiva jatam nikhilam prapanchitam. Jnanena bhuyopi cha tat praliyate. Rajvamahir bhava bhavau yatha. Atmanamevatmataya vijanatam. Tenaiva jatam nikhilam prapanchitam. Jnanena bhuyopi cha tat praliyate. Rajvamahir bhava bhavau yatha. Atmanamevatmataya vijanatam. Tenaiva jatam nikhilam prapanchitam. Jnanena bhuyopi cha tat pradiyate. Rajvamahir bhava bhavau yatha. Atmanamevatmataya vijanatam. Tenaiva jatam nikhilam prapanchitam. Jnanena bhuyopi cha tat praliyate. Rajvamahir bhoga bhava bhavau yatha. Atmanamevatmataya vijanatam. Tenaiva jatam nikhilam prapanchitam. Jnanena bhuyopi cha tat praliyate. Rajvamahir bhoga bhava bhavau yatha. आत्मानमेवात्मतया विजानताम् तेनैव जातं निखिलं प्रपञ्चितम् ज्ञानेन भूयोऽपि च तत्प्रलीयते रज्ज्वामहेर्भोगभवाभवौ यथा वैष्णवीस् synonyms atmanam yourself eva indeed atmataya as the supreme soul avijanatam for those who do not understand tena by that eva alone jatam is generated nikhilam the entire prapanchitam material existence jnanena by knowledge bhuyah api once again cha and tat that material existence praliyate disappears rajva within a rope ahe of a snake bhoga of the body bhava abhavav the apparent appearance and disappearance yatha just as. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki translation. A person who mistakes a rope for a snake becomes fearful, but he then gives up his fear upon realizing that the so-called snake does not exist. Similarly, for those who fail to recognize you as the supreme soul of all souls, the expansive illusory material existence arises, but knowledge of you at once causes it to subside. Purport. Those submerged in illusion see material existence as infinite, just as one who is submerged in water sees only water all around him. For example, material scientists and philosophers submerged deep within the ocean of material illusion imagine that material nature extends infinitely in all directions. In fact, the material creation is a finite ocean of ignorance in which foolish living entities such as material scientists are unceremoniously dunked by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To be trapped in a world in which all things are born and die is certainly a fearful experience. Anyone trapped in a dark place naturally becomes fearful. Since material life is always covered by the darkness of ignorance, every conditioned soul is fearful. The material nature is not ultimate reality, and thus analysis of matter can never provide answers to ultimate questions. This dark snake-like existence called material life immediately disappears as soon as one opens his eyes to the bright light of Krishna consciousness. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, once again we are discussing Shri Brahma's prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Previously, when I was speaking on verse number 14, I had given the background of this entire pastime. The background is that when the cowherd boys were all rescued by Krishna from the mouth of Aghasura, after that all of them sat down and they were enjoying their lunch with Bhagavan. And Bhagavan manifested so many forms which are known as Prakash Vigraha, and each and every cowherd boy felt that Bhagavan is looking directly at me while they were having their lunch with Krishna. When Shri Brahmaji saw this, he wanted to see the glory of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, and for this reason he had a small test in which he stole away all the cows and cowherd boys. And when Bhagavan understood this, he manifested himself again as all the cows and cowherd boys. So once he did that, Brahmaji, after 1 year, he realized that this personality is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he offered various prayers, and his prayers are continuing. In order to understand the prayer, we have this wonderful purport as well as the word for word. I will once again try to explain word by word. Sri Brahmaji is saying, Atmanam eva, one's own soul, eva, certainly, Atmataya avijanatam. Avijanatam, those who don't know. So one who doesn't know one's own soul as what? Atmataya. So there are two interpretations here. One is the interpretation of the impersonalists, the Mayavadis, and one is the interpretation of the Vaishnavas. So in this verse, in the BBT purport and word for word, we have the Vaishnava interpretation. Atmataya means one who sees you, Krishna, as the Paramatma. They have interpreted Atma as what? As the Paramatma. One who sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Paramatma of all living entities. So they have seen Atmanam as Paramatmanam. So those who see Bhagavan Krishna as Paramatma, but those who don't see, Ajanatam, Tenaiva Jatam Nikhilam Prapanchitam. So those who cannot understand that Bhagavan Shri Krishna is the Paramatma, is the super soul, for them Nikhilam Prapanchitam Jatam, the entire material world arises only for those who do not understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead seated within the heart. But Jnanena means through devotional knowledge, through knowledge of bhakti, Bhuyopi chatat praliyate. Once again, this material existence which is temporary but ultimately false, so this material existence is destroyed for those individuals. Then an analogy is given. Rajvam, just as in a rope, Aher bhoga, a snake's body is seen. Bhava, it is initially seen, abhavau, and later it disappears when one realizes that it is not a snake. Yatha. So an analogy is given to push forward the point. Now in simpler words. Simple words, those who are not able to see Krishna as the Paramatma within the heart, for them the entire material world arises. But once they become equipped with Jnana, Bhakti Jnana, then once again this material world disappears for them. In other words, they become liberated from this world and attain the spiritual world. And the analogy is there, just as a person who is walking at night, in the dark he sees a rope, but he mistakes a rope for being a snake. But that mistake is for some time. As soon as he looks more clearly, then he gets jnana, he gets real knowledge that it's not a snake, basically it's a rope. So the illusion of that snake disappears, and this is the analogy given to drive the point that one should have devotional knowledge that Krishna is the Paramatma within the heart. So that's the sum and substance of the verse. Now, as I said previously also in previous talk when I was speaking on verse number 14. I had said that the first and original commentator that we have on this entire Srimad Bhagavatam is Jagat Guru Sridhar Swami. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to say, Sridhar Swami, Guru Karimani, Sridhar Anugata Karo Bhagavat Vyakhyan, Abhiman Chhado Bhajo Krishna Bhagwan. Sridhar Swami, Guru Karimani. Understand Sridhar Swami to be the entire world's Guru. Sridhar Anugata Karo Bhagavat Vyakhyan. If you want to explain Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, explain as Sridhar Swami explains. Abhiman Chhado, give up your false pride of being a person who understands Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhaja Krishna Bhagwan, and worship Lord Krishna after understanding Srimad Bhagavatam from this great Acharya, Sridhar Swami. But as I said last time, there is some tinge of Mayavad in the commentary of Srila Sridhar Swami. And this tinge of Mayavad is removed in the Vaishnava commentator's commentary. But still it is important to understand what Srila Sridhar Swami is saying, because he explains Srimad Bhagavatam as nobody else has explained before. All the commentators have first understood Srimad Bhagavatam by reading Sridhar Swami. Whether it is Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, all of them have understood Bhagavatam from Srila Sridhar Swami's commentary. So let's see what Srila Sridhar Swami says. For that I'll need to focus on the previous verse. So let's go to previous verse. Sridhar Swami says something. Please hear carefully. Sridhar Swami says, Tatra cha jnanena taranti iti. So in the previous verse, if you see the last line, taranti iva. If you can see, the last line says taranti iva. By knowledge, by jnana, a conditioned soul crosses over the ocean of material existence. This is spoken in the previous verse. Sridhar Swami points this out. Tacha taranti iva. But Sridhar Swami says, not taranti. The last line says taranti iva, taranti iva. As if they cross. They don't exactly cross. And tacha atmataya. And in the second line you will see Swa Atmanam Atmataya. In the second line of this previous verse you will see Atmataya. He is pointing out to these two words. By understanding one's own self and the Supreme Self to be non-different. See, here is the impersonal understanding. Please note, this is not the Vaishnava understanding, this is the impersonal understanding. Jnanena iti arthatrayam pratigyatam. These three things were pratigyatam. They were declared in the previous verse. Kramena upapadyate. Now sequentially they will be described in detail in the subsequent verses. So once again we come to this current verse. Jai Shri Radha Ras Bihari Bhagavan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Now Sridhar Swami says, Tatra Atmanameva Atmataya. Now the current verse begins with Atmanameva Atmataya. Ityanena shlokena jnanena taranti iti etat upapadyate. By this verse, Brahmaji will explain how a conditioned soul can cross over the material world through jnana. Jnana means knowledge of Vedanta. Jnana means what? Knowledge of Vedanta. Because for the impersonalists, jnana means knowledge of Vedanta. For the devotees, jnana means bhakti jnana. But for the impersonalists, jnana means Vedanta jnana. Now, Sridhar Swami says, Nanu jnanena katham bhavam taranti iti. Tasya ajnana mulatvad iti aha. Now, jnanena katham bhavam tarati. How can a person cross over the material existence simply through jnana? Which type of jnana? Because this material existence is ajnana mulatvat. It is rooted in ignorance. This entire material existence is rooted in ignorance. So how can one cross over this material existence simply by jnana? So Sridhar Swami says, Atmanam eveti. Therefore, this verse says, Atmanam eva atmataya. By one specific type of jnana only. Which type of jnana? The jnana that Atma is Atma. Atma means the supreme absolute truth. Brahma is Atma, is one with the individual soul. This is the impersonal understanding that I have to declare many times because Sridhar Swami is giving that commentary. This is the impersonal understanding, not the Vaishnava understanding. Okay. Teneva ajnaneneva prapanchitam prapanchaha. So the first line, last term is prapanchitam, which means prapanchaha, material world is created because one doesn't have this knowledge. Now, he clarifies the analogy, Rajva Maher Bhog Bhava Bhavau. He says, Sarpa Sharirasya Adhyasas Tadapavadau. Rajva Ajnanena Yatha Iti. Sarpa Sharira. It is Sridhar Swami who has first said that it is Sarpa Sharir, the body of a snake. Just as one has adhyas, adhyas means one falls into illusion initially, and tad apavadav, then that illusion is removed. That analogy is explained in the last line. So, this is the commentary of Srila Sridhar Swami. We have immense respect for Srila Sridhar Swami, but in portions where he is commenting from an impersonal point of view, we beg to differ and we take slightly different interpretation. So, Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, all of them have said Atmanam, the first word of this verse, as Paramatmanam. Those who understand you to be Paramatma, and they are the ones who are liberated. But one who doesn't understand you like that, they are bound in this material world. But once a person understands you to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Paramatma within the heart, then material existence disappears for them, because material existence is ultimately temporary. And then the final analogy is always there. Now this final analogy is known as Rajju Sarpanyaya. Okay, Rajju means rope, Sarpa means snake. It is known as Rajju Sarpanyaya. It is very commonly quoted analogy, especially amongst the impersonalists. So today we will do some chikitsa. Chikitsa means some surgical analysis of Rajju Sarpanyaya. Because once we understand what is Rajju Sarpanyaya, we are heading straight into the home of the impersonalists and trying to prove that they are not correct within their own analogy. For this, we need the support of the previous acharyas definitely, who have analyzed Rajju Sarpanyaya very nicely. See, first and foremost, we have to understand one term Sridhar Swami has used. It is a very common term amongst the impersonalists. It is adhyasa. Okay, please repeat after me, adhyasa. Adhyas means, this is the term which the impersonalists define. In Hindi it is said, एक वस्तु में दूसरे वस्तु का भ्रम हो जाना. I hope you are able to understand. This is adhyas. Or to have the illusion of one entity within another entity is known as adhyas. This is how adhyas is defined. Now they give various analogies. One analogy is Rajju Sarpanyaya. This current analogy which is being given. What is Rajju Sarpanyaya? As I explained, at night a person is walking on a dark street and there is absolutely no light, and suddenly that person sees a rope on the street. The first thing that the person thinks of is that it is not a rope, it is a snake. So, on a rope, there is the illusion of snake. Or in Hindi we will say कि रज्जु पे या रस्सी पर सांप होने का आरोप कर दिया गया है ऐसा. So the snake has been mistaken, or the rope has been mistaken to be a snake. So this is known as adhyas. Similarly, the impersonalists say, actually this entire material world, it doesn't exist. It is false. If it is false, then what exists? Only one thing exists, only one entity exists. Do you know which entity exists, Adhoksha Krishna Prabhu? Brahma. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Only one thing exists, that is Brahma. But I am seeing so many naam, roop, so many names, forms, etc. See, he has a name, he has a form, he has qualities, he has everything. All of you also have. So what are these names, forms, etc. that I am seeing around me? It is my experience that I am seeing all of you. So this form that I am seeing in front of me, what is called Adhokshaj Krishna Prabhu, it is actually Adhyas. What is it? Adhyas. So I am speaking from the impersonal point of view. This is Adhyas. Adhyas means I have mistaken. Actually it is Brahma. But Brahma has become temporarily covered by Maya. And because Brahma has become temporarily covered by Maya, that Brahma is imagining these forms, names, qualities, pastimes. So actually this is also Brahma. And I am also what? Brahma. So everything is Brahma. Once this Gyan is there, and this Gyan happens by Vedant Shravan. It happens by hearing the statements of which Shastra? Vedant. There are Mahavakyas in the Upanishads. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. So by hearing and meditating upon these Mahavakyas, then one understands that actually this was also Brahman. I was also Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. And then everything is Brahma. This is removal of Adhyas. Once Adhyas is removed, then only Brahma remains. Then you understand that it was actually a rope. I hope you are able to understand. This is the classic Rajju Sarpanyaya, which is given in Vedanta discussions amongst the impersonalists. Now, as I said, we have to do some chikitsa. Chikitsa means surgery. Surgery is required for understanding why the Vaishnava Acharyas don't agree with this. And it's very easy. See, on the surface it appears so sophisticated, Rajju Sarpanyaya. It's quoted also in so many places. Even in the Bhagavatam, Rajju Sarpanyaya is quoted, somebody will say. So is Brahmaji trying to give impersonal or Advait Gyan here? Or is it something else? So our Vaishnava Acharyas say something. And first and foremost, Sri Madhvacharya says something in his books. So Sri Madhvacharya says, very nice, let's take Rajju Sarpanyaya, okay, and we will analyze Rajju Sarpanyaya, okay. And impersonalists, all of you say, all of the impersonalists say that it is Adhyas or a mistake, Brahm, illusion. So Sri Madhvacharya says, even for Brahm to occur, even for illusion to occur, such an illusion, Rajju Sarpa, there are 9 things required. How many things are required? 9. Okay, one by one, all of these 9 I will, we will calculate. First is Adhishthan. Please repeat after me. What is the first? Adhishthan means, first I will explain in Hindi, so it will be easy. जिस वस्तु में भ्रम हो जाता है, मतलब पहले रस्सी होना चाहिए. क्या होना चाहिए पहले? रस्सी. रस्सी means first the substratum for the original object should be there. What is the original object? It is called Adhishthan. The original object is rope here. Without the rope being present, can we mistake the rope for the snake? No. So the first thing the first factor which has to be there is Adhishthan. Everybody agrees? Yes. Nobody disagrees here. Please take the opposite side. Don't take Sri Madhvacharya say. Be the devil's advocate here and take the opposite side for some time. Okay. If you feel that something which is being said is not correct, then you, during the question and answers, you say, I didn't feel this was correct. Okay. You have to test the knowledge. Litmus test has to be there. It has to be verified knowledge. Okay. The first is Adhishthan. Everybody agrees Adhishthan has to be there? Yes. First the rope has to be there. Second, Drashta. Drashta means the person who mistakes it has to be, the person who sees it has to be there. Yes or no? If the person himself is not there, can anybody mistake the rope for the snake? No. So the Drashta has to be there. Second thing. Third factor, Sri Madhvacharya says, Samanya Dharma. Samanya Dharma means the original object, rope, should have some qualities Like rope has some samanya some general qualities. What are the qualities? It is long, okay, and it is made out of a specific substance. So these are samanya dharma. It has to have some qualities. With zero qualities, can it be called a rope? No. So it has to have some quality, samanya dharma. Then Sri Madhvacharya says Vishesh dharma. The rope also has to have some specific qualities. It has to be a rope. See, a snake is also long, a rope is also long. Both have the samanya dharma, the general quality of being what? Long. But the rope has a Vishesh dharma. What is the Vishesh dharma? That it is a rope. Although it is long, it is what? Rope. So being a rope is the Vishesh dharma, or its specific quality. Then this is the fourth factor, Vishesh dharma. Fifth factor is Sadrishya. Sadrishya means similarity. What should be there? Similarity. Between the rope and the snake we should have something. What should we have? Similarity. If there is no similarity, can a person mistake the rope for the snake? No. So Sadrishya means similarity between both objects should be there. Okay. Sixth factor. The person who is seeing it should have knowledge of samanya dharma. He should have knowledge of the general qualities of rope. Seventh, the person should not have knowledge of Vishesh dharma. The person should not realize that it is actually a rope. Okay, he should only know samanya, that it some long object is there. He should not realize Vishesh dharma. He should not realize that it is actually a what? It's a rope. Now, the person should also, eighth factor is the person should also have sadrishya. He should have knowledge of similarity between rope and snake. And final, ninth factor, the person needs indriya, senses. What does the person need? Indriya. Without senses, can any person see, can any person mistake one thing for another? No. These 9 factors are required. Okay. In this one single analogy, how many factors are required? 9. Now, let's apply this same 9 factors to the statement which, what is the ultimate statement that the impersonalists want to say? Brahma Satya, Jagat Mithya. That's the, okay, Brahma is the rope, Jagat is the snake. I hope you are able to understand. Huh? Brahma is the rope, Jagat is the snake. Let's apply the 9 factors to the ultimate object which is being analyzed. Okay. First, Adhishthan. So, what is the Adhishthan of this, according to impersonalists? What is the original object? What is the Adhishthan? Brahma. Because the original rope is what? Brahma. Okay. Then second factor is, who is the drashta? Who is the person who is making the illusion? Is Brahma itself making the illusion? Yes or no? Yes, because there has to be a drashta, a person who is falling into illusion. Who is falling into illusion? Brahma itself is falling into illusion? Yes, but it is not possible. Why? Because Upanishads themselves say, what are the qualities of Brahma? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. There are 3 qualities of Brahma, Swarup Lakshana of Brahma. What are the 3 Swarup Lakshana of Brahma? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Taittiriya Upanishad, 2.1.1, Taittiriya Upanishad. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Swarup Lakshana of Brahma. It is Satyam. Jnanam, it is possessed of true knowledge. How can a person or an entity which is possessed of true knowledge ever fall into illusion? Is it possible? It cannot become drashta. Okay. Third, there should be some samanya dharma. The rope should have some samanya dharma. In this case, the rope is Brahma. What is the rope? Brahma. And the Jagat is the Sarpa. So Brahma should have some samanya dharma. But Brahma has no dharma, because everywhere in Upanishads, Brahma is described as with qualities or without qualities? Without qualities. A Shabda, a Rupa, a Sparsha, everywhere Neti Neti. How is it described? Neti Neti, without qualities. So how can Brahma have samanya dharma? Brahma cannot have samanya dharma. Forget about Samanya Dharma, it can never have even Vishesh Dharma. Can it have Vishesh Dharma? No. When Brahman doesn't have Samanya Dharma, Brahman doesn't have Vishesh Dharma, how can there be Sadrishya, similarity between Brahma and Jagat? Can there be similarity between Brahma and Jagat? No. Therefore Madhvacharya says Brahma and Jagat are not one. Brahma and Jagat are what? Madhvacharya. It's completely different. It's not one, it's two. Completely different. So if you try to analyze all the factors in this way, actually this analogy doesn't apply at all. Never applies. One more important thing, Sri Madhvacharya very importantly points out. See, a person who mistakes a rope for a snake, Adhoksha Krishna Prabhu, a person who mistakes a rope for a snake, that person should have seen a rope somewhere first. Yes? That person should also have seen a snake somewhere first. Yes? So which means somewhere the rope should also be Satya and somewhere the snake should also be what? Satya, truth. Unless the rope is Satya somewhere and the snake is Satya somewhere, can a person mistake the rope for a snake? No. Which means Brahma is also Satya and Jagat is also what? Satya. Only then is it possible that a person will mistake Brahma for Jagat. I hope you are able to understand. In order to mistake a rope for a snake, the rope has to be somewhere Satya and the snake also has to have some existence in Satya. वो रस्सी भी कहीं ना कहीं देखी होनी चाहिए और वो सांप भी कहीं ना कहीं क्या होना चाहिए? देखा होना चाहिए. उसका सत्य है कहीं पे, उसका अस्तित्व है. It has its true existence somewhere. Then one can confuse one for the other. Acha, our chikitsa doesn't end here. Okay, we will continue our chikitsa. Madhvacharya goes one level deeper. Okay, Adhoksha Krishna Prabhu, for some time you are my friend. Will you take the position of an impersonalist? Yes. Please say the Mahavakya. Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. You can say sorry to Radharas Bihari later, okay? But just say the Mahavakya. Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. And then give the analogy. Rajju Sarpavat. Okay. Acha. So Brahma Satya and Jagat Mithya, that's true. This knowledge is true, yes or no? Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Okay. Yes. And this analogy that you gave, Anuman that you gave, Rajju Sarpavat, is this analogy also Satya?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
But there is only one Satya in this universe. What is that Satya? Brahma. How can there be a second Satya besides Brahma? See, Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya, okay? And you gave an analogy. You gave some Gyan, some Anuman to explain Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Is that Anuman or that Gyan, is the Gyan that Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya true or false?
True.
Then it has to be a second truth besides Brahma, na? Hai ki nahi? So how many truths there are in this world?
Two.
Two? Then you come to our school then. Or you have stick to your school. How many truths there are? One. Then this knowledge of Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya is ultimately what? This analogy that you gave, Rajju Sarpavat, is ultimately what? Mithya. According to your own understanding. Ultimately all Gyan is also what? Mithya. Matlab you were learning Mithya Gyan. So this is how, in both cases, checkmate, it is checkmate. If you say yes, then you have a second Satya, then welcome to Madhvacharya school. And if you say no, you checkmate yourself and say yes, my philosophy is incorrect. Okay. So this is how, for centuries in the Madhva Sampradaya, they have tackled Advaitvadis. For centuries they have tackled. They, in fact, the highest literature which came out is called Nyayamrit. Nyayamrit, it was such a literature, it forced the Advaitvadis to change their position, many of their positions. And one reply was written to Nyayamrita, it is called Advait Siddhi by Madhusudan Saraswati. So it forced Advaitvadis to change many of their traditional positions. This is Madhva Sampradaya. It forced their Sampradaya of Adi Shankaracharya to change their definitions of Advaita. Anyways, we Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Okay. Now, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, although it's a branch of Sri Madhva Sampradaya, it has its own way of presenting philosophy. Now, Srila Jiva Goswami will also say something. Srila Jiva Goswami will say, this Brahma Satya and Jagat Mithya, Maya Mithya is not our philosophy. Why? Because it goes against what Sri Vyasadeva has seen. Okay, so I want to pull out another verse, Prabhuji. Can you pull out another verse? Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 7th chapter, 4th verse. I will describe what is going on in the verse. Narad Muni told Sri Vyasadeva, you write compose Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyasadeva sat on the banks of Saraswati. He touched the waters of Saraswati for purification. And then Sri Vyasadeva entered Samadhi. What did Sri Vyasadeva enter? Samadhi. In Vyasadeva's Samadhi, Vyasadeva saw something. What did Vyasadeva see in his Samadhi before composing Srimad Bhagavatam? That is described in this verse. Please repeat after me. Bhakti yogena manasi samyak pranihite male apashyat purusham purnam mayam cha tatapashrayam. Bhakti yogena manasi. Vyasadeva in his mind was full of which yoga? Bhakti yoga. Samyak pranihite. His mind was fully focused. Pranihita, fully focused on the Supreme Lord. And amale, his mind was completely amala. Amala means free of any contamination. Free of any contamination, Vyasadeva Samadhi, what did Vyasadeva see? Apashyat, he saw. Purusham Purnam, he saw the Purna Purusha, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whom did he see? Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And he saw Mayam cha tad apashrayam. He saw Maya who had taken his shelter. Now please tell me, if Maya is ultimately false, like a snake on a rope, if Maya is adhyas, then why will a personality like Vyasadeva see Maya even in his Samadhi? Does a person have any Brahm or any adhyas in Samadhi Dasha? Yes or no? In Samadhi Dasha, is it possible to have any Brahm? Is it mentioned Amale? Amale means his mind was completely free of contamination. In his mind free of contamination, he also saw Maya, who had taken shelter of Bhagavan. Right? So, is Maya Satya or Maya Mithya? Satya. Because in Samadhi, you will only see Satya, not Mithya. So, is Jagat Satya or Jagat Mithya? Because Jagat is created from Maya. Trigunatmika Maya. This is Jiva Goswami's way of explaining how Maya is Satya, Maya is not Mithya. Because Jiva Goswami doesn't use the logic of Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya uses Nyaya Shastra. He says there are 9 factors of Brahma, Satya, Jagat, Mithya doesn't fall very nicely into those 9 factors. But Jiva Goswami says, I will not go into Nyaya Shastra. Jiva Goswami says, we will take the realization of Vyasadeva. What Vyasadeva agrees to, we will agree to. That is what we believe in. Right? Because Vyasadeva is the common guru for impersonalists as well as the Vaishnavas. The Sampradaya of Adi Shankaracharya, it comes, who is the guru of Adi Shankaracharya? The guru of Adi Shankaracharya is Sri Gaudapad. Who is the guru of Sri Gaudapad? Sri Govindapad. Who is the guru of Sri Govindapad? Shukadev Goswami. Who is the guru of Shukadev Goswami? Vyasadeva. In both Sampradayas, the common guru is whom? So Vyas Vakya everybody has to agree to. In Vyas Vakya it is said, in Vyasa Samadhi, Vyasadeva saw Maya. Did question to impersonalists, did Vyasadeva see Satya? और व्यासदेव saw mithya. What is the answer? Satya. Otherwise samadhi will not be justified. I hope you are able to understand. Everybody understood what I am trying to say. In Hindi I will, व्यासदेव जी ने समाधि में माया को देखा, इससे माया का सत्यत्व प्रतिपादित स्पष्ट रूप से होता है, माया का मिथ्यात्व इसी प्रमाण से खंडित होता है. यहाँ पर ये हमें समझना चाहिए. इस श्लोक में माया का मिथ्यात्व खंडित होता है और माया का और जगत का सत्य होना, सत्य अधिष्ठान रूप में स्थित होना जगत का इसी श्लोक में सिद्ध होता है. So, dear devotees, for us, Jagat is Satya and Brahma is also, Brahma is Param Satya. Why is Brahma Param Satya? Because like Jagat, it is not subject to repeated destruction and creation. So Brahma is also what? Satya, but Brahma is what? Param Satya. But Brahma is just the very first and basic understanding of Tattva, of the absolute truth. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti shabdyate. So Brahma is a valid understanding, it is not incorrect understanding. Those who are Brahma realized, very valid knowledge, but that knowledge is incomplete. Paramatma, very valid knowledge, but that knowledge is also slightly incomplete. Bhagavan, that knowledge is complete, 100% realization. Okay? Very simply, what is the difference between Brahma realization, Paramatma realization, Bhagavan? Very simply, I will tell you, very simple to understand. See, suppose there are three sadhakas. Sadhaka 1, Sadhaka 2, Sadhaka 3. These three are all trying to understand Tattva. What are they trying to understand? Tattva. Tattva means absolute truth. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yadgyana. All of you are trying to understand Tattva. One person understands the Tattva as Brahma. One person understands the Tattva as Paramatma. And the third person understands the same Tattva as what? Bhagavan. Is the Tattva 1 or Tattva 3? 1. Because Advayam. Advayam means it is not 2. It is what? 1. But the next line gives how many names for that same Tattva? 3. But it cannot be 3. Tattva has to be how much? 1. It's actually Bhagavan. But that Bhagavan, because of the qualification of the sadhaka, that Bhagavan appears differently to different personalities. This sadhaka is Brahma realized. He wants to realize Brahman. This sadhaka's eligibility is only that he sees Bhagavan but without any energies, without any Shakti of Bhagavan. Do you understand? You want to understand Tattva without Shaktis of Tattva. Therefore you have only which realization? Brahma. He knows Tattva, but he doesn't understand what? Shakti of Tattva. Therefore his realization is only Brahma realization. Because for understanding complete features, you have to understand Tattva along with what? Shakti. Without Shakti, you cannot understand Tattva completely. This second sadhak, he understands Tattva. He understands Tattva as only the controller of material Shakti. I hope you are able to understand. So he understands the Tattva in which feature? Paramatma. Because Paramatma is only the controller of which Shakti? Material energy. I told you last time, how many Paramatmas are there? 3. Karanodakashayi Vishnu, the Paramatma of the entire material existence. Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, the Paramatma of one universe. Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, the Paramatma of each and every atom. I hope you are able to understand. But all of this is in relation to which world? Material world or spiritual world? So one who sees Brahma only as the controller of material Shakti, sees sees Tattva in which feature? Paramatma. And this sadhaka who sees Tattva as the controller of both Bhautik Shakti and Adhyatmik Chit Shakti, both Shaktis, this sadhaka sees Tattva in which feature? Bhagavan. Because only this sadhaka is eligible to see Swarup of Bhagavan. This sadhaka is eligible to see what? Swarup. Because Swarup of Bhagavan, the form of Bhagavan, two-handed form, playing a flute, golden dhoti, this form is made out of what? भगवान का रूप किस चीज का बना हुआ है? वो तो ठीक है, भगवान का रूप किसी को दिखता है. Somebody sees Bhagwan's form. How are they able to see Bhagwan's form? They are able to see Bhagwan's form because of Shakti. Only because of what? Shakti. Therefore it is called Swarup Shakti. Which Shakti it is called? जिससे भगवान का स्वरूप दिखता है वो शक्ति कौन सी शक्ति है? स्वरूप शक्ति. The Swarup of Bhagwan is seen only because of Swarup Shakti. Once Swarup Shakti disappears, what remains is Nirvishesh Brahma. I hope you are able to understand. What remains is Nirvishesh Brahma. So a sadhak who is not able to perceive Swarup Shakti or Maya Shakti is qualified for which realization? Brahma realization. A sadhak who sees only Maya Shakti along with Tattva is qualified for which realization? Paramatma. A sadhak who sees Tattva with Maya Shakti and Chit Shakti is qualified for which realization? Bhagwan realization. So this is the difference between, the difference is not in Tattva. The difference is in whom? The sadhaka, the people who are qualified. Tattva always remains what? Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yad jnanam advayam. Tattva to ek hi hai. If tattva was three, why will Vyasdev say tattva is advaya? Tattva is only one. That tattva is Bhagwan. Which is that tattva? Bhagwan. Bhagwan is the tattva. Nothing else. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwan iti shabdyate. Shabdyate. Shabdyate means it is known through various names. Okay? It is only known through various names. Originally it exists not in three names. Originally it exists in how many names? One. That is Bhagwan. Vasudev. That is the name of Param Tattva. So I hope it is clear. So thank you very much, dear devotees, for kindly giving your precious time. And I would like to end with a verse from Padyavali. There is a very nice verse by Hanumanji in Padyavali. Srila Rupa Goswami has quoted this very nice verse. Bhavabandha chide tasyai sprihayami na muktaye bhavan prabhur aham dasa iti yatra vilupyate. Sri Hanumanji says, and Sri Rupa Goswami quotes in Padyavali, Bhavabandha chide tasyai. I don't pray for freedom from material existence. Sprihayamina. I don't have any desire for becoming liberated. Muktaye. I don't have any desire for this mukti, becoming one with Brahma. Why? Bhavan prabhur aham dasa iti yatra vilupyate. Because this feeling that, O Shri Ram, you are Prabhu, and aham dasa, that I am sevak, iti yatra vilupyate, this feeling will be completely lost in this liberation. So therefore I don't want this type of liberation. I don't pray for this type of liberation. So he is not praying for Sayujya Mukti. He says, I never pray for Sayujya Mukti. Because the feeling of Bhavan Prabhur Aham Dasa, that you are Prabhu and I am Das, iti yatra vilupyate, that feeling will be lost. Once that feeling is lost, Rasa Swadan will not happen. The exchange of ras between Bhagwan and Bhakta will not happen. And as I said last time, in Bhakti Yoga, the main thing is to experience what? Ras. One who has not experienced ras, what is the use? Ras has to be experienced. Bhakti, Ras, Amrit, Sindhu. The main literature of our Sampradaya. Bhakti, Ras, Amrit, Sindhu. The Sampradaya is expecting us, all of us devotees, to have some sthai bhav towards Bhagwan. When that sthai bhav is nourished by Vibhav, Anubhav, Satvik bhav, Vyabhichari bhav, it turns into Ras. Okay. So, all of us should understand what is Bhakti Ras. What is Sthai Bhav, Vyabhichari Bhav. Everything is given in Bhakti Rasamrita, in Nectar of Devotion, everything is given. One small, simple analogy. For example, you make a sabji. Everybody knows how sabji is made, right? Your favorite sabji, Prabhuji? Which sabji do you like? Adok says Krishna Prabhu. Huh? What? Nirvishesh? Yes. Have some choice. Tell me one sabji that you like. Say, bindi ka sabji. Nice? No. Okay. Paneer sabji? That's no. Aloo sabji. Chalo, theek. Aloo sabji. You're a good renunciator. You like aloo sabji. Very nice. Okay. For making aloo sabji, you see, for making aloo sabji, you need one basic ingredient. What basic ingredient do you need? You need potatoes. Okay? So potato, but simply potato will not do. So what do you have to do? You have to cut it up. Then you have to put it in a frying pan. Mix some oil, mix some water or whatever, mix some spices and then fry it up and then warm it up and heat it up. And finally, when you have put spices, jeera, everything, Finally, when you eat it, you experience ras. What do you experience? Ras. Acha, the ras that you experience, is that ras potato? Is it purely potato? Is it purely spices? Is it purely oil? If you would have tasted potato separately, spices separately, oil separately, would that give the same taste, or this gives a unique different taste? It gives a unique different taste. That is what ras is. Ras requires one main ingredient, sthai bhav. What is the main ingredient? Sthai bhav. That is the potato. Okay? Then you add vibhav, anubhav, satvik bhav, vyabhichari bhav. Then you fry it up, through your sadhan bhakti. What you get finally is bhakti ras. I hope you are able to understand. That ras has a distinct taste of its own, although it is, the original content is sthai bhav. But it is nourished by various factors, vibhav, anubhav, satvik bhav, vyabhichari bhav. This analogy is given by all the previous acharyas to explain what ras is. So, all of us should understand Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. All of us should know how to exchange ras with Bhagavan. And this is the success of our devotional life. So I will pause here at this point of time. Once again, I'd like to thank all of you for kindly being present here. Thank you, Brajari Prabhu. Thank you, Sankarshan Nitai Prabhu. Thank you all the senior devotees for kindly being present here. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Yadatra skalitam kinchit vidvamsah purayantu tat. Yadatra saushtavam kinchit tad guru reva mein nahi. Yadatra skalitam kinchit. चलते चलते कोई भी गिर जाता है, हर कोई गिरता है कि नहीं? Everybody falls once in their life. It's possible that while speaking I may have spoken something incorrect. But vidvamsah, all of you are learned people. Purayantu tat. You please correct something which I have spoken incorrect. Yadatra saushtavam kinchit. But if I have spoken anything nicely, a sentence, a word, an alphabet, nicely, if you liked something, please remember, tad guru reva. It belongs to my Guru Janas. May nahi, it doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Okay. Yes. Questions and answers. Yes. Okay. हाँ, हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. पहले प्रभु जी को दे दीजिए.
Sometimes we feel like dreaming in the night. There is also feeling reality.
Yes.
Many philosophers in Bhagavatam also, in the purport we see the material world look like a dreaming in the night. So what is?
Yes, very nice, very nice. So many times in the Bhagavatam it is said material world is like a dream. Prabhupada also used to make many times this statement, material world is like a dream. But in order to see any object in the dream, Madhvacharya says, the object should also exist in reality. स्वप्न में व्यक्ति वही देखता है जो उसने सत्य में कहीं देखा होगा. That is what a person sees. So sometimes a person sees, let's say sometimes a person sees a golden mountain in a dream. So a person should first know what is gold and the person should know what is a mountain. These things should have satya, satya astitva. Then only one can dream. So the material world is like a dream, but it means that it is also true, because whatever objects are seen in the dream, although temporary, are derived from which objects? True objects or false objects? They are derived from true objects. So ultimately, the material world has to be true. Jagat has to be satya, although it is nashwar, although it has no infinite existence. So that is the... ultimately it is false, therefore it is compared to a dream. It is not actually a false dream which is going on. It is compared to a dream. It is not actually false. The material world is true. The experience that you and me and everyone are having in this world, it's a true experience. It is not a false, it is not mithya experience. It is a true experience. So that is the understanding that we have. Thank you, Maharaj.
शंप्रभु जी,
हाँ,
दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्ण।
हाँ,
ब्रह्मा जी जब भगवान को स्तुति कर रहे हैं, उसमें एक शब्द आया है सर्वदोष विवर्जितम। प्रभु आपके पास लेस मात्र भी दोष नहीं है, पूर्ण शुद्ध पूर्ण पवित्र है। तो जब जीव आता है भगवान को दर्शन करता है, प्रणाम करता है, प्रसाद ग्रहण करता है, तो क्यों सर्वदोष विवर्जित क्यों नहीं हो पाता? कुछ समय के लिए होता है, फिर अपना स्वभाव फिर कभी कभी प्रकट हो जाता है। जैसा एग्जाम्पल दिया जाता है, बच्चा आग के पास जाते ही आग उसका काम करता है, लेकिन प्रणाम करते सब होता है, फिर उसका पूर्व कर्म के अनुसार फिर वह प्रकट हो जाता है। तो ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है?
ऐसा इसलिए होता है कि जब कोई बद्ध जीव भगवान के समक्ष आता है तो बद्ध जीव में जो भौतिक गुण रहते हैं वो अलग अलग स्तर पे बद्ध जीव में वर्तमान रहते। भगवत गीता में भी भगवान ने बोला है तमोगुण जीव को अलग अलग तरह से ढकता है, और उसमें उन्होंने भगवान ने बहुत सारे दृष्टांत दिए हैं। जैसे अग्नि को धुआं ढकता है, एक दृष्टांत ये भी दिया है जैसे बच्चे को गर्भ ढक लेता है, वो सबसे अधिक तमोगुण का दृष्टांत वो है। जैसे किसी शिशु को गर्भ ढकता है, वैसे ही मनुष्यों को तमोगुण और ये जो गुण हैं अलग अलग स्तर पे ढकते हैं। तो उसी तरह से जब कोई व्यक्ति भगवान के समक्ष आता है, भगवान यद्यपि पूर्ण रूप से सर्वगुण संपन्न है, उनमें कोई भी भौतिक गुण का लेश मात्र भी नहीं है, पर जीव के चित्त में जो संस्कार रहते हैं वो संस्कारों में बहुत सारे भौतिक वृत्तियां भी रहती हैं। वो भौतिक वृत्तियां कुछ समय के लिए दब जाती हैं जब वो भगवान के समक्ष आ जाता है, कुछ समय के लिए दब जाती है, पर उसका पूर्ण शुद्धिकरण नहीं होता है। क्यों नहीं होता है? क्योंकि उसको अभी तक भक्ति की उच्च अवस्थाएं प्राप्त नहीं हुई हैं। कौन सी अवस्थाएं प्राप्त नहीं हुई है? भगवान के प्रति राग, भगवान के प्रति प्रेम की उत्पत्ति उसके चित्त में नहीं हुई है। जब उसके हृदय में राग और प्रेम की उत्पत्ति होगी उस समय पूर्ण रूप से उसका जो शरीर है, उसका भौतिक शरीर, स्थूल शरीर और सूक्ष्म शरीर पूरी तरह से अच्छे से धुल जाता है। इसको श्री जीव गोस्वामी भक्ति संदर्भ में बोलते हैं निर्धूत कषाय। निर्धूत कषाय मतलब इसका जो कलेवर है, शरीर है, इसका स्थूल शरीर, सूक्ष्म शरीर, ये अच्छे से धुल चुका है। लेकिन वो वही व्यक्ति होता है जिसको भाव और उसके ऊपर की अवस्थाएं प्राप्त होती हैं। तो उसके लिए उसको भक्ति में भगवान की कृपा प्राप्त करके उसको भाव या प्रेम की अवस्था प्राप्त करनी होगी। श्री भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में श्री रूप गोस्वामी जी ने इसका प्रमाण दिया है। श्री रूप गोस्वामी भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में कहते हैं विषयेषु गरिष्ठोपि रागः प्रायो प्रलीयते, कि विषयों में बड़ा से बड़ा आकर्षण भी यदि हो फिर भी भगवान के प्रति प्रेम जो है उसको प्रायः बोलते, ऑलमोस्ट खत्म कर देता है। टीका में विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पूछते हैं प्रायः क्यों लिखा, पूर्ण रूप से क्यों नहीं लिखा? बोलते क्योंकि अभी सिर्फ राग बोला है, आकर्षण बोला है, जब पूर्ण प्रेम हो जाएगा तब पूरी तरह से धुल जाएगा। तो भगवान के प्रति जब राग होने लगता है, मतलब इनिशियल अट्रैक्शन जिसको कहते हैं रागानुगा भक्ति वाला, वो जब राग होने लगता है तो प्रायः सारे भौतिक इच्छाएं, जो भौतिक संस्कार है, वासनाएं हैं, वो प्रायः धुल जाती है। फिर भी थोड़ी थोड़ी बाकी रह सकती है किसी साधक में जिसको राग भक्ति प्राप्त भी हो चुकी है, लेकिन जिसको प्रेम की अवस्था प्राप्त हो चुकी है उसका हृदय निर्धूत कषाय मतलब पूर्ण रूप से धुल चुका है। ये भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु ग्रंथ में प्रमाण है इसका। तो बाकी जो साधक है, जो अजात रति कहते हैं, उनको भगवान के प्रति रति ही पैदा नहीं हुई है, वो उनकी हालत ऐसी है कि भगवान के सामने कुछ समय आते हैं तो उनको लगता है कि हम शुद्ध हो गए, और दूर जाने के बाद चित्त में जो दबे हुए संस्कार हैं वो वापस चित्त में जैसे लहरें हिलोरे मारती है वैसे इनके चित्त में वापस वही संस्कार जो है डोलने लगते हैं। तो ये कारण है, अन्य कोई कारण नहीं है। तो वो साधक को क्रमे क्रमे सही भक्त होई बे उत्तम, धीरे धीरे वो भक्त उत्तम अधिकारी होवेगा। ये चैतन्य चरितामृत में दिया हुआ है। आशा है आपके प्रश्न का संतुष्टिपूर्ण उत्तर दिया। प्रभु जी काफी समय से कुछ कहना, ये प्रभु जी। Yes, Mataji, after Prabhuji asks. Prabhuji, then Siddhi Lalsa Mataji. पूछिए।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर गिविंग इंस्पायरिंग क्लास। एक समय कृष्णाम प्रभु प्रवचन दिए थे
जी,
आपके इस व्यासासन पर बैठकर। उन्होंने एक एनालॉजी बताया कि एक लकड़ी काटने वाला था, लकड़हारा, वो पूरा दिन लकड़ी काटता था। तो उस समय एक राजा का जो प्रधान है राजकुमार को लेके सैर करने जा रहे थे घूमने के लिए जंगल में। तो राजकुमार को प्रधान बोले कूद के बैठो घोड़े के ऊपर, वो बोला मैं नहीं बैठूंगा। ऐसा 2-3 बार हुआ, फिर आखिर वो कूद के घोड़े ऊपर बैठ गया। और ये देखा लकड़ी काटने वाले ने। फिर बाद में लकड़ी काटना पूरा हो गया, वो एक पेड़ के ऊपर जाके बैठा और पेड़ के पास में कुआं था, उसको बिल्कुल पानी नहीं था और गहरा कुआं था। और तब वो सो गया, उसे आया सपना। सपने में उसने देखा कि वो बन गया है राजकुमार, और राजकुमार बनने के बाद क्या हुआ, वो प्रधान बोला बैठो घोड़े पर, और 2-3 बार बोला बैठो, फिर ये बैठा ही नहीं, बोला नहीं बैठूंगा। फिर विशेष आग्रह करने पर ये कूद के घोड़े पर बैठना था। जैसा उसने जंप किया वो कहाँ गिरा, कुआं में गिर गया। तो उसकी हड्डी फसली साफ हो गई, हड्डी फसली। तो ये जगत है, इसका जो रिजल्ट है वो सत्य है
जी।
वो राजकुमार बना ये झूठ है, लेकिन जो सपना है सत्य है और उसका जो रिजल्ट आया वो सत्य है।
जी।
ये पॉइंट उन्होंने समझाया था।
जी, बहुत।
हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा।
और किसी का कुछ हो?
जी, सिद्धिलाल समत जी से समथिंग।
Hare Krishna.
हरे
My question is about the analogy, snake and rope. I always wondered whether that was invented by the Mayavadis,
No.
but I read it in 4th canto. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
4th canto, chapter 22, in the conversation between Sanat Kumar and Prithu Maharaj. And in the purport, Prabhupada is defeating that philosophy, but it has its origin from the Vedic literatures.
Right.
Can you tell us about this?
Can I?
You can tell us about this, because I thought it was an invention,
No, it's
just something they came up with.
No,
but it's there.
No, it's not an invention, certainly, because Sri Vyasadeva is speaking about it here in this verse itself. Brahmaji is speaking about it, and he got all his Vedic knowledge directly from Bhagwan. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Adi Kavi Brahma got all Brahma Gyan from Bhagwan Shri Krishna himself. So the analogy is certainly valid, but at the same time the impersonalists explain the analogy in a different way, and the Vaishnavas explain the analogy in a different way. The impersonalists say that the rope is the truth and the snake is falsity. But the Vaishnavas say the rope is the truth, the snake is also the truth, mistaking one for another is the falsity. That is the only difference between both of them. So the impersonalists say the rope is the truth, the impersonalists cannot have a second truth. So the snake obviously has to be false, and therefore the mistake is arising. And the only difference is Vaishnavas say the rope is truth, the snake is also what? Truth, but mistaking one for another is what the analogy is trying to say. That's all. That's the difference between the understand, because both of them can use this analogy perfectly very well. The analogy is not designed for any particular school of thought. It can be used by any school of thought, but there is some problem in how the impersonalists use it, and Sri Madhvacharya has pointed that out. So that is how it is.
The other thing is that what is it that the Mayavadi want to prove? Because they just want to say that we don't exist, the world doesn't exist,
No.
and therefore all problems solved.
Right.
We just don't exist. So what is the purpose?
Right. The purpose is that ultimately, I am using the term very carefully, ultimately nothing exists except Brahma. They have 3 levels of existence. In Mayavad philosophy, there are 3 levels of existence. They are called Satta. Satta means existence. Pratibhasik Satta, Vyavaharik Satta, Paramarthik Satta. Pratibhasik Satya means in this world also what is false. In this false world, whatever is false is called as Pratibhasik. For example, dreaming within a false world belongs to which Satta? Pratibhasik Satta. First level. Falsity within falsity. Pratibhasik Satta. Then Vyavaharik Satta. In this world, what is true, Vyavahar ke liye, for practical dealings what is true. But ultimately it is illusion. That they call Vyavaharik Satta. They call Vyavaharik Satya. So he is Satya, ultimately is Mithya, but Vyavaharik from a practical point of view is Satya. And Paramarthik Satta is only one. What is that? Brahma. So they have three Sattas: Pratibhasik Satta, Vyavaharik Satta, Paramarthik Satta. And the first two are false. Only one Satta, Paramarthik Satta, is the truth, that is Brahma. That is what they want to prove. And because of this, ultimately, whatever Naam, Roop, etc., whatever names, forms, etc. exist, they are actually ultimately false. And therefore, by understanding this, all of one's suffering comes to an end. So that is the purpose of Brahma Jigyasa. Because Vedanta Sutra begins with Brahma Jigyasa, Vedanta Sutra ends with Anavritti Shabdat, Anavritti Shabdat. Moksha. So the purpose is moksha. To achieve the Chaturth Purushartha, the fourth Purushartha is the aim of Vedanta Shravan, or the aim of the impersonalists. So I hope I was able to answer satisfactorily. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Prabhuji and then Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
हरे कृष्ण। सपना कौन देखता है?
जी। So,
कृष्ण है।
हाँ, दृष्टा।
सपना कौन देखता है?
जी जी।
मन देखने वाला कौन है?
हाँ जी, दृष्टा होता है, स्वप्न देखने वाला दृष्टा होता है। स्वप्न का दृष्टा ही स्वप्न देखता है। दैट्स व्हाट ये मैं जब बताया मध्वाचार्य जी का, तभी बताया कि ये ब्रह्म पे जगत का सपना जो है, सपना देखने वाला कौन है? हाँ, क्या ब्रह्म सपना देख रहा है क्या? पर ब्रह्म सपना नहीं देख सकता। क्यों? ब्रह्म में गुण ही नहीं है। तो ब्रह्म सपना देखने का गुण कहाँ से ब्रह्म में आ जाएगा? है कि नहीं? जब बोला है, खुद के ही शास्त्रों में बोला है, निष्कलम निष्क्रियम, निष्क्रिय बोला है ब्रह्म को। जब निष्क्रिय बोला है, सभी क्रियाओं का वर्जन किया है ब्रह्म में, तो फिर उसमें स्वप्न देखने की क्रिया कहाँ से उपस्थित हो गई? तो ये स्वयं की फिलोसफी गलत है। एक्चुअली बात यह है कि फिलोसफी गलत है, और वो कैसे गलत है ये जानना बहुत आवश्यक है, क्योंकि उससे वैष्णवों का सिद्धांत दृढ़ होते हैं, वैष्णव के सिद्धांत पोषित होते हैं, और वैष्णव के सिद्धांत पोषित होने से भगवान में हमारी श्रद्धा बढ़ती है, और हम भगवत तत्व, ब्रह्म तत्व नहीं, परमात्मा तत्व नहीं, भगवत तत्व में हमारी प्रीति होती है। यही कारण है कि हमको देखना चाहिए। एक स्वामी थे जो काशी में और बहुत भारत में घूमते थे। भगवद गीता पे उन्होंने बहुत बड़ी टीका लिखी है। इन स्वामी का नाम था स्वामी राम सुखदास। इन्होंने भगवद गीता पे बहुत बड़ी टीका लिखी, साधक संजीवनी नाम की टीका लिखी इन्होंने। उस साधक संजीवनी में पूरा निर्विशेषवाद बताया गया है, मतलब सब अद्वैतवाद के दृष्टि से बताया गया है, लेकिन उन्होंने ब्रह्म शब्द का प्रयोग नहीं किया है उसमें। पूरे टीका में ब्रह्म शब्द का प्रयोग नहीं किया। क्यों? तो बोलते थे ब्रह्म को ब्रह्म नाम क्यों देना? ये बात है। आप समझ रहे? ब्रह्म को ब्रह्म नाम क्यों देना? नाम देना भी तो उसके ऊपर एक और उपाधि देना है। ब्रह्म को एक उपाधि तो दे रहे हो आप, वास्तव में उपाधि है क्या ब्रह्म को? कोई नहीं है ना। तो उसको तत् कह देना बस। क्या कह देना? तत्। हाँ हाँ, टीका ही यही बात है। बाद में वो जब वो महावाक्यों पे विचार करते थे तो बोलते अहम ब्रह्मास्मि, तो बोलते थे इसमें अहम आ गया। अहम ब्रह्मास्मि में भी क्या आ गया? अहम। अहम और ब्रह्म को भिन्न कर रहे हैं, है कि नहीं? हाँ, अहम ब्रह्म अस्मि, अहम पद, ब्रह्म पद, अस्मि पद, 3 पद है इस महावाक्य में। हाँ, तो अहम और ब्रह्म को क्यों भिन्न कर रहे हैं? हाँ, वो बोलते थे ऐसा मत कहो, कहते थे ब्रह्म ही वहम, ब्रह्म ही मैं हूँ। ऐसा उल्टा करके ब्रह्म ही वहम, ब्रह्म ही मैं हूँ। बाद में फिर उनको बहुत दुष्कर हुआ ये फिलॉसफी समझने में। बाद में उन्होंने एक बड़ा आर्टिकल लिखा, उसमें उन्होंने लिखा आधुनिक वेदांत से सावधान। ऐसा हाँ, अंत में, जीवन के अंत में ये लिखा उन्होंने, आधुनिक वेदांत से सावधान, ऐसा आर्टिकल लिखा उन्होंने। उसमें लिखा ये जो ब्रह्म को हम अपने को ब्रह्म बताते हैं, ये सब कोरा ज्ञान है। सीधा लिखा उसमें, ये सब कोरा ज्ञान है। पूरा जीवन भर करने के बाद ना, ये सब कोरा ज्ञान है। मेरे पास वो आर्टिकल, आप चाहे तो गूगल पर भी सर्च कर सकते हो, आधुनिक वेदांत से सावधान करके। ये सब कोरा ज्ञान है। ये जो आजकल बड़ी बड़ी बातें बताई जाती है ना कि हाँ, मैं ही ब्रह्म हूँ, लोग बोलते हैं और खुद को बड़ी बड़ी उपाधि देकर घूमते हैं, ये कोरा ज्ञान है, इससे कुछ नहीं, इसमें अनुभव में कुछ नहीं आता हमारे, ऐसा बोला। फिर उसके अंत में उन्होंने उस आर्टिकल के अंत में उन्होंने श्रीमद् भागवत का एक श्लोक लिखा, ये निरविंदाक्ष विमुक्त मानिनस त्वयस्तभाव अविशुद्ध बुद्धया आरोह्य कृच्छ्रेण परम पदम तथा पतंत्यधो नादृते। ये देख सभी लोग देख सकते, ये आर्टिकल देखने लायक कि कैसे मायावादी की जीवनी क्या होती है। हाँ? क्योंकि भगवान का अनादर जो कर बैठता है उसकी जीवनी क्या होती है। ये बहुत सबसे बड़ी गीता प्रेस सबसे बड़ी टीका ये छापती साधक संजीवनी, पर वो साधक संजीवनी लिखने वाले जो टीकाकार है उनके जीवन के अंत में उन्होंने क्या लिखा, उन्होंने यही लिखा कि भाई ये हमारे अनुभव में नहीं आ पाए, ये अनुभव की वस्तु नहीं हो पाई। वो आर्टिकल में ये भी लिखा, हम शंकराचार्य जी की बात भी हम विश्वास नहीं करते। उन्होंने ये लिखा है कि ब्रह्म में जगत का अध्यास हो जाता है ना, तो अध्यास करने वाला कौन है? हाँ, कौन है जो सपना देख रहा है? हाँ, ऐसे सब प्रश्न उन्होंने उसमें पूछे प्रश्न। तो ये सब ये जो पूरे जीवन मायावाद का पालन करने के बाद व्यक्ति को रियलाइज, ओ ये निरविंदाक्ष विमुक्त मानी, इसलिए भगवान का भजन करो। आप समझ रहे? देखिए ऐसा नहीं, बहुत महान अनुभूति, मतलब बहुत महान अनुभव हुआ है। पूरा जीवन भर अद्वैतवाद करने के बाद यदि किसी को अनुभव हो जाए ऐसा, तो बहुत बड़ी बात है, बहुत बड़ी बात है। ऐसा नहीं, हमको उसको तुच्छ नहीं समझना चाहिए, क्योंकि हर व्यक्ति का एक जीवन में उसको कुछ श्रम होता है। किसी व्यक्ति को पूरा जीवन निकालना पड़ता है भक्ति समझने के लिए। तो हम आदर सभी का करते हैं, लेकिन हमारा जीवन का फिलॉसफी है भक्ति, पालन तो हम भक्ति का ही करेंगे। क्यों? क्योंकि पिछले कुछ जन्मों में शायद हमने ऐसा किया होगा। हाँ, उसका फल स्वरूप हमको इस जन्म में क्या मिली है? भक्ति मिली। अब इसको हाथ से नहीं जाने देंगे। पिछले जन्मों की सुकृति के कारण ही इस जन्म में भक्ति मिलती है। और उसका प्रमाण क्या है? महाप्रसादे गोविंदे नाम ब्रह्मणि वैष्णव स्वल्प पुण्य बताम राजन विश्वासो नहीं बजायते। जिनका पुण्य कम है पिछले जन्मों का, उनका कहाँ से विश्वास बैठेगा उनका इसमें? तो अच्छे पुण्य वालों का ही भक्ति में श्रद्धा बैठती है। तो और भी बहुत प्रमाण है भागवत में। तेपुस तपुस्ते जुहुबु सस्नुरार्य ब्रह्माणु चूर्णाम गृणंती ये ते। हाँ, अहो बतश्व पचो तो गरियान यद जिह्वाग्रे वर्तते नाम तुभ्यम। तेपुस तपस्ते जहुर सस्नुरार्य ब्रह्माणु चूर्णाम गृणे। उन्होंने पिछले जन्मों में जिन्होंने सब कुछ कर लिया, तपस्या कर लिया, व्रत कर लिए, वेदों का पठन कर लिया, सब कुछ कर लिया, उनके जिह्वा पे आज आपका नाम विराजमान है, हे भगवान। ये सीधा यही कहा गया है वहाँ पे। तो ये बात बहुत समझने लायक है। जिसको भक्ति प्राप्त हुई है वो अधिकारी बहुत ऊंचा होता है। यद्यपि हमको लगता है हम तो बहुत साधारण मनुष्य है, तो भक्ति तो कोई भी कर सकता है, लेकिन जो अधिकारी है भक्ति का, जिसने दीक्षा लिया है, वास्तव में जिसने दीक्षा लेके बैठा है, तो बहुत पिछले जन्म का सुकृति रहा होगा, तभी वो इस स्तर पे आया है। ये समझना चाहिए। ठीक है,
मेरा कथन ये है, कुछ विद्वान कहते हैं कि जो सपने सिर काटे कोई, बिनु जागे न दुख दूर होई। तो कौन सोता है और कौन जागता है? सोई हुई अवस्था में देखता है कि मेरा सीट कट गया है, वो है कौन? ये मैं जानना चाहता हूँ।
जी, वो तो वास्तव में है, व्यक्ति है, एक स्वप्न देखने वाला है।
तो वो है कौन? कौन व्यक्ति? मतलब आत्मा है, क्या है वो? कौन है वो?
हाँ,
मन है, कौन है वो?
नहीं, दृष्टा तो आत्मा ही होता है। दृष्टा तो आत्मा ही होता है। आत्मा ही भौतिक या आध्यात्मिक इंद्रियों के द्वारा देखता है, और परमात्मा उसको प्रेरित करते हैं। परमात्मा की प्रेरणा, वो तो वेदांत सूत्र में इसका बहुत विशद विश्लेषण है कि परमात्मा किस प्रकार से जीव को अच्छे बुरे कर्मों के फलस्वरूप उनको दुस्वप्न या अच्छे स्वप्न दिखाते हैं। तो ये उसका विश्लेषण वहाँ पर।
थैंक यू।
जी जी, इनके बाद
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for the very wonderful class. In this today's shloka's translation says that as soon as the person becomes knowledgeable, this jnane na bhuyo. So as soon as one becomes knowledgeable of this fact that this is not the, and the analogy is explained about it, this is not the snake, this is a rope. So my question is, now that means for this thing to come, I need the light, and that is what Prabhupada and mentions about this light of Krishna consciousness. That is the last line. So now I am knowledgeable, I have switched on the light, but tomorrow the situation is so that again there is darkness. If there is light, there is no question only altogether. Like provided I am proper and all. But then this situation I cannot change. So what about that situation? And it happens in my life, in like every one of our lives, that the situation, the circumstances is so that I am currently in knowledge. But now when I go back after Bhagavatam class or whatever else, in my own, daily routine, so then, again that knowledge becomes covered over. So, of course, the solution also I know that we have to put the light of Krishna consciousness. But then, for that particular moment, the fear is always going to be there. I am again going to be put into illusion. So, what can be done of that?
Very simple. See, right now the light is switched on, and after some time it will be switched off once we are not in the association of devotees. That's what you are trying to say, right? Then we'll again fall into illusion. And what is the solution? Therefore, what Sri Brahma is saying in this verse is not simply pustak gyan, is not book knowledge. Previous verse, he had spoken about specific type of knowledge. If you see the previous verse, please read the third line, Prabhu. It is on the screen here.
Arka labdho panishat suchak shusha.
हाँ, गुरु अर्क लब्ध उपनिषद सु चक्षुषा. Guru eva arka. Guru is the sun. Arka means what? Sun. Guru is the sun, Surya. Guru arka labdha. From the sun you get Upanishad. It is Gyan, Chakshu. You get Gyan Chakshu from the Guru. So you have to learn Shastra through Guru Mukh. गुरु मुख से शास्त्र का श्रवण करना आवश्यक, बहुत आवश्यक है, बहुत आवश्यक है. You have to have a शिक्षा गुरु, or sometimes Diksha Guru becomes Shiksha Guru, sometimes you have to have a separate Shiksha Guru. Whatever may be the situation may be different in different sadhakas' lives. One has to have a Shiksha Guru from whose mouth one hears Shastra and from whom one gets Shastriya Buddhi. Why we don't have, why the light gets switched off is because our Shastriya Buddhi has not been turned on. Our Shastra Buddhi is not turned on. Once we start thinking in the framework of Shastra, then 24 hours we will be thinking from that framework. But for that, somebody needs to switch on the light in our lives permanently. Like Arka, when the sun arises, everybody gets Chakshu. Everybody gets their eyes back. So similarly, when the Guru Rupi Arka, the Guru sun arises, everybody gets their Agyana Timirandasya, Gyananjana Shalaka, Chakshur Unmilitam. Once the Chakshu is Unmilita, once it is restored back to its position, then you can see also independently. But the Guru has to train the disciple in Shastriya Buddhi. That is what differentiates Kanishtha from Madhyamadhikari from Uttamadhikari. Kanishtha no Shastra Gyan. Madhyamadhikari, little Shastra Gyan. Uttamadhikari, complete Shastra Gyan. That is what differentiates. Uttamadhikari is thinking from the point of view of Shastra. When he sees the world, he sees it from the framework of Shastra. Why? Because he is trained like that Guru Mukhs, through the words of his own Guru. And he is trained like that, he will see like that. So that is very important to understand. For example, a person is walking on the street and a person, sees something very nice and attractive to eat. Okay. Different people who are trained in different ways see things differently. A person who is naturally addicted to eating good foodstuffs, when he sees something nice to eat, he sees some nice sweet or ice cream, he says, I would like to eat it. This is by default everybody's reaction. Okay? But a person is trained under a personal trainer and the personal trainer says you should avoid sugar. Sugar is poison for you. Samajh mein aa raha hai? That's how they train you nowadays. You go to a gym, the personal trainer tells you sugar is poison, avoid sugar. And he reinforces this in your mind. The next time you're walking on the street, you see ice cream. What do you see? Do you see ice cream or do you see sugar? What do you see? Sugar. Then what do you do? I want sugar free. So you look for sugar free variety, है कि नहीं? So next time, so when the Guru मुख से सुनने का बहुत परिणाम होता है, बहुत. We underestimate what is the importance of hearing from Guru's mouth. गुरु मुख से श्रवण बहुत बड़ी बात होती है. Should hear from the mouth of a bona fide guru, train ourselves under a Vaishnav, and then we should see the difference in our lives. And that Vaishnav should enable Shastra Buddhi within our lives. We should be able to think from the framework of Shastra. That is how we become Madhyam or Uttam Adhikari. Okay. हाँ 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 चलेगा. तो थोड़ा हाँ चलेगा. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे.